What? You found Flemeth's grimoire? Ever since we discovered the condition of the Mage's Tower, I had wondered if it might be recoverable, but I had yet to speak of it to you. How fortunate that you found it on your own. You have my thanks. I will begin study of the tome immediately.
What do you hope to find within it?
Secrets. My mother has many of them, and this tome represents the one time that they were able to get away from her. I do not intend to squander this opportunity to learn more than Flemeth wished me to know. This should be interesting.
And there we go. And a huge amount of approval. Minor willpower, minor magic from Morrigan. New quest. Loads of stuff. Okay, we can talk to everyone then. Let's talk to Win first.
Oh, it's been a long day. Rest would be welcome.
You alright?
Yes, of course. I am just a little weary. As you may have noticed, I'm no spring chicken.
There's still some life in those old bones, I bet.
Thank you. You're very kind to say so. But in all honesty, I do not know how many years I have left in me. I have lived for such a long time, but there is always something else to do. And I have to keep going in order to do it. I think I will be glad when I am done.
You'll be kicking around for a few years yet.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't.
Okay.
Have you encountered many abominations, apart from the ones in the Circle Tower?
Well, there's Connor.
Ah, yes, Connor, of course. The first time I saw an abomination, my blood turned to ice. It was months before the nightmares stopped. It was the knowledge that I could easily become one of them that frightened me the most.
You're a great mage. You would never become an abomination.
Every mage is vulnerable, no matter how accomplished or powerful. That is the first thing we learn, and overconfidence can lead to recklessness. One slip. All it takes is one slip, and everything you are is simply gone, replaced by madness. And there is no turning back, or at least that's what they say.
You have doubts?
Of late, I have begun to wonder if there is any way an abomination can be cured, or if a mage could be so possessed and still retain their sanity, their humanity.
If one retains one's humanity, one is not an abomination.
Yes, it is madness and cruelty that define abominations. If those are lacking, if the mage remembers the person they truly are, then they are not an abomination. I never saw that. Thank you for showing me another way of looking at it.
No problem, Win.
So, tell me, how did you become a Grey Warden?
I was tainted and only the joining would save me.
Then you became a Grey Warden out of necessity. But Duncan must also have seen something special in you. The Order does not take in recruits just to save their life. You must be proud to be able to represent your tribe and the Dalish as a Grey Warden.
I was honoured to be chosen by Duncan.
Sometimes it gives me comfort to think that everything will end up the way it's supposed to. That it will be all right. You were chosen. You survived the joining when others did not. Perhaps it was meant to be.
Maybe.
I must ask, what does being a Grey Warden mean to you?
Oh my god, there's so much to go through with Win. What does a Grey Warden mean to me? It means I've been chosen to do something important.
There's that, of course. But there's more to being a Grey Warden than killing Darkspawn and saving the world from the Blight. Ultimately, being a Grey Warden is about serving others. About serving all people, whether elves or dwarves or men.
You mean to say I serve as a protector?
As a Grey Warden, you are a guardian of men. and you guard them because their continued existence is more important than you are. Thus it is you who serves, not they.
Makes sense.
A good king, a true king who cares for his land, uses his power to rule firmly but fairly. He serves his people first and foremost. The king who does not do this, who believes that he is entitled to his power, who abuses it and uses it for his own means, is a tyrant.
Many kings are tyrants.
And the country suffers for it. If you live apart from others, and your actions affect only you, then you may do as you wish. But if you have power, influence, and strength, your every action will be as a drop of water in a clear, still pond. The drop causes ripples, and ripples spread. Think of how far they will go, how wide they will become, how will they affect the pond. But I've lectured enough for today. I should stop before I wear out my welcome.
Okay, I'll leave it there, I think, for now. She's lectured enough. Let's talk to everyone else. Lele!
I must say that traveling with you has opened my eyes to how wrong some are about the Dalish. You are not at all savage, and I've not seen you snatch away women and children without provocation.
Are you trying to be funny?
Funny? No. People actually do believe such things of you. If my people were more open to interacting with yours, we could do away with such misperceptions.
To be fair, they're closed-minded individuals on both sides.
I hear many city folk talk about how wonderful it must be to live simpler lives, close to the earth. They could learn from the Dalish.
We do live quite close to the earth, I guess.
How marvelous that must be. I have met very few elves, and those that I have met were pledged to the service of Orlesian nobles.
I could never live like that.
Elven servants are well compensated for their services. Some of them live richer lives than humans. A well-trained elven servant is highly valued in Orlais. They are nimble and dexterous, and many people find them pleasing to look at.
I don't think we should continue this conversation.
I am sorry. I have offended and I did not mean to do so. Have I ever told you I really like the way you wear your hair?
My hair? Thank you.
It's very nice and it suits you. Simple. Not like the elaborate hairstyles we wore in Orlais. They involved flowers, ribbons, jewels. One year, feathers were all the rage, and Lady Elise decided she needed to outdo everyone else, and actually wore live songbirds in her voluminous hair. The chirping was quite charming for a while, but you must realize, terrified little birdies often have loose bowels.
Poor Lady Elise.
Yes, you can imagine what she looked like by the end of the evening. But I was trying to say something nice to you, wasn't I? Oh, forgive me. My mind wanders so. It's just that I feel so comfortable talking to you, like I could say anything and you wouldn't judge me.
Well, we are friends, aren't we?
Yes, very much so. I haven't felt this close to anyone in a long time. I really enjoy your company.
Do you often enjoy the company of other women?
And what would you do if I said I do? Very much so, in fact.
I'm flattered that you like my company, then.
There's no one else I'd rather spend time with. Come then, let us get going. If I recall correctly, you have some important earth-shattering business to attend to. Yes? Something you need?
Let's talk about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
Okay, why did you decide to come to Ferelden?
My mother was from Denerim, and I consider myself a Ferelden. Mother served an Orlesian noblewoman who lived here when Orlais ruled. When Orlais was defeated and the common folk began to resent the presence of any Orlesian, the lady returned to Orlais. She took my mother with her. I was born in Orlais and did not set foot in Ferelden till much later. Mother was always telling me stories of her homeland. I think she missed it.
What happened to your mother?
Mother died when I was very young. Lady Cecily let me stay with her. I had no one else. She was quite old then, and she had me study music and dance to entertain her. It is unfair that I have more memories of Cecily than my mother.
What was Cecile like?
She was an elderly lady, very refined and proper. She had impeccable manners and taste, more so than a lot of Orlesian ladies. Cecily was also kind. My mother was unmarried and with child. It was scandalous, and Cecily had every right to turn my mother out. She didn't. Strangely, the only thing I really remember of Mother was her scent. She kept dried flowers in her closet amongst her clothes. Small white Ferelden wildflowers with a sweet fragrance. Mother called them Andraste's Grace. They were very rare in Orlais. But enough about that. Let us move on.
Okay. And we have actually given Lele those flowers, so... Alistair?
You know, maybe this isn't the best time to be thinking about this, but I've something to ask you. Chances are we'll be heading to Denerim soon. And when we're there, I wonder if we might be able to look someone up.
You have a friend outside the Grey Wardens?
I'm not talking about a friend, exactly. And no, it's not that sort of friend either. The thing is, I have a sister, a half-sister. I told you about my mother, right? She was a servant at Redcliffe Castle and she had a daughter. Only, I never knew about her. I don't think she knew about me either. They kept my birth a secret, after all. But, after I became a Grey Warden, I did some checking, and... well, I found out she's still alive. In Denerim.
Have you contacted her?
No. I thought about writing her, but I never did. And then we were called down to Ostagar, and I never got the chance. She's the only real family I have left. The only family not also mixed up in the whole royal thing. I've just been thinking that maybe it's time I went to see her. With the blight coming and everything, I don't know if I'll ever get another chance to see her. Maybe I can help her. Warn her about the danger, I don't know.
If you want to, we could try.
Could we? I'd appreciate that. If something happened to her and I never went to at least see her, I don't know if I could forgive myself. Her name is Goldana, and I think she remarried but still lives just outside the alienage. If we're in the area, then, well, it's worth a look.
And we saw a bit of Goldana in the Fade when we went to Alistair's Nightmare, didn't we? So that's pretty cool.
Something on your mind?
I have questions.
Of course.
Okay. Let's have a look. How did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Haha, very funny.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
I'm sorry.
No, it's... I'm sorry. I shouldn't be... It's fine. He died a hero. They all did. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
Poor Alistair, he's still hurting. Sten,
Yes,
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question,
And the question was?
the Arishok asked what is the Blight. By his curiosity, I am now here.
What's an Arishok?
The one who commands the Antam, the body of the Kunari.
So he's your king?
Kunari have no kings.
What do you have then?
Little patience for endless questions.
Did you find the answer to his question?
A portion of it.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
Let's go.
As you wish.
Well, at least we got a little conversation out of Sten there. And finally, Morrigan. And I also need to talk to the dog as well, but Morrigan first.
I await your command.
I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
That's savage. Fun? You found it fun?
I found the game fun. I was too young to understand the truth behind what was happening. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Flemish used you as bait?
'Twas a game, and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
What exactly is an apostate?
You do not know? The Zealots use that word for any magic they do not control. The Chantry sees any mages not leashed to the Circle of Magi as apostates. And apostates could become maleficarum, evil mages that resort to blood magic and become demon-enslaved abominations. It may even be true. Still, those of us who prefer freedom see no reason to submit.
If you say so.
How agreeable of you. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
I'm not sure what I'd think if I was a mage about that. I guess they do feel like they're being corralled like cattle, as Morrigan would say, being controlled by the Templars, but then again, if any mages are let loose, that could cause problems, like we saw in the Mage's Tower.
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
It's the thought that counts. He means well.
The dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
You heard the lady.
I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
That dog is too smart for its own good.
He is certainly manipulative, I can tell. I do it too.
Yep. Morrigan is pretty manipulative. Right, so I think that's everyone spoken to. We're going to speak to Win again.
What's on your mind?
Feeling better now?
Oh, yes, and thank you for asking. I'm feeling much better today.
I suppose you were just tired then, like you said.
I suppose I must be.
Okay. And I think that's where we're going to end it for today, guys. We got quite a bit done. Bit of a talky end to the session. But yeah, we're going to end it here. So, if you enjoyed these episodes, please don't forget to leave your likes, your shares, your comments. That really would help me out a lot. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, or subscribe if you're new. And if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter, where you can keep up to date with everything that happens on the channel and get involved in a bit of banter. And I also have a Discord as well, so make sure you get involved on there as well. I would love to get the numbers up on there. I would love to have a nice little community of like-minded people and interact with you guys on a more personal level. But until next time, guys, goodbye. Thanks for watching.